The wind howled through the abandoned village, carrying whispers of a past long buried beneath dust and time. Rurik stepped carefully among the ruins, his boots crunching over shattered pottery and burnt wood. He had no home now, no family, no allegiance, just a restless wanderer searching for something he couldn't name. He ducked into a collapsed barn, hoping for shelter before nightfall. That's when he saw it, half buried beneath ash and straw, a sword. Its blade was rusted and dull, the hilt worn to the bone, yet something about it pulsed, faintly, like a heartbeat. Curious, Rurik reached out. The moment his fingers closed around the hilt, the air changed. It wasn't just colder, it was heavier. A pressure settled on his chest. The wind outside died instantly. Silence engulfed the barn like a tomb. And then the visions began. He stood in a vast hall of marble and fire, armored figures bowing before him. A golden crown rested on his brow. He saw a woman weeping as soldiers dragged her away. He saw a child hiding behind a pillar, clutching a pendant shaped like a phoenix. He saw war, betrayal, fire, and then darkness. Rurik dropped the sword with a gasp, stumbling back. The air returned to normal, but he wasn't the same. That vision hadn't been a dream. It had been a memory. But whose? By morning, news had already spread through the borderlands. The Emperor's sword has returned, people whispered. The blade of Ordran, the last true ruler. Rurik didn't understand. He'd never heard of Ordran. But the more he walked, the more he heard. Old men knelt before him. Children stared in awe. A woman in rags touched his hand and whispered, "The phoenix lives." He tried to discard the sword, buried it, threw it into a river. But every night it returned, at the foot of his bedroll, beside his fire, always waiting. And with it came the dreams. He remembered riding through crowds as they cheered his name. He remembered holding the same rusty sword, shining then, above his head as fire rained down on his enemies. And he remembered betrayal, a council of traitors, a chalice of poisoned wine, a blade in the dark. You were Ordran, an old Cid told him. Reborn. That's madness, Rurik said. I was a blacksmith's son. My village burned when I was a boy. Burned, she repeated, by the same men who killed Ordran, to make sure he never returned. Within weeks, Rurik had gathered followers, some zealous, some desperate. Bandits laid down arms in his presence. Soldiers defected when they saw the sword. They all believed he was a long-lost emperor reborn. Rurik didn't. Not fully, but every night, the dreams grew stronger. He could recite royal decrees he had never read. He knew secret mountain paths not drawn on any map. He spoke the name Aveline in his sleep, though he didn't know why. When a royal patrol confronted him, he expected a fight. But the captain dropped his weapon, eyes wide. Forgive me, Your Grace. I didn't recognize you. The man knelt. The others followed. Rurik felt something shift inside him. Power, memory, identity. Months passed. A rebellion bloomed. Kingdoms trembled. The tyrant king, Maldron, once Ordran's most trusted general, sent assassins. None returned. The people chanted Rurik's name in the streets, painted phoenixes on doors, raised flags not seen in a generation. The sword, once rusted, now gleamed faintly as if feeding on belief. But not all believed. A woman named Celine appeared at Rurik's camp. She claimed to be the daughter of Aveline, the woman from his dreams. She carried a pendant, the phoenix. I don't know if you are Ordran, she said, but you carry his pain, his fire. If you are not him, you are something more. Rurik looked at her and felt the pull of another life. A love lost, a promise broken, a kingdom betrayed. The final battle came swiftly. Rurik's forces met Maldron's legions at the Valley of Red Stones. Thunder cracked the sky as two great armies clashed. Steel screamed. Blood soaked the earth. Rurik rode at the front, the sword raised high. Lightning danced along its edge. Every strike he made felt guided, every move remembered. He reached Maldron at sunset. The king, armored in black, sneered. I should have finished you as a boy. You tried, Rurik said. Maldron lunged, but the sword sang. Rurik moved like a man possessed, not with anger, but with destiny. Their blades clashed in sparks and fury. Finally, Maldron fell, the Emperor's sword through his heart. As the tyrant gasped his last, Rurik whispered, For Ordran, for the Phoenix. The battlefield fell silent. The sword glowed brightly now, its rust gone, its fire returned. Rurik stood before thousands. They chanted, wept, knelt, but he did not raise his hand. He turned to Selene, who watched with quiet knowing. I remember everything, he said. And, she asked, I was Ordran. I am Rurik. Both. Neither. Something new. She smiled. Then perhaps this time you will do better. Rurik did not take the throne in the great capital. Instead, he rebuilt the outer cities, walked among the people, broke the old systems of power that had corrupted even him in his past life. He ruled, not as a king, but as a servant. The sword remained by his side, not as a weapon, but as a reminder of who he had been and who he must never become again. And in time, the land healed. The phoenix had risen, not in fire, but in hope,